Okay, we want to pull a key of this shot. It's a bit challenging because of the fine hair details and the details on the clothes. So we just apply the CorridorKey by BlaceAI plugin and we get the almost perfect key immediately. Like, let me maybe change the background color to like grayish, so it's a bit easier to spot. Yeah, like the default settings already look super good. I want to walk you through like some of the more advanced settings and generally show you how the plugin works. So what the plugin does, it takes like a alpha hint, and based on that alpha hint, it creates a refined key. But it doesn't only create this key, it also predicts the foreground color. And this foreground color reconstruction is actually one of the most important things. So like, as you can see here, the green that gets mixed in with the foreground color gets perfectly removed, and we can check the foreground. And you see that it doesn't only remove like the green from those pixels, but it also like fills neighboring pixels with the color of the foreground. So this will give you a perfect compositing element, because if then this foreground color is multiplied with the constructed alpha meti, you get an element that works very well in compositing. Okay, yeah, so for the output modes, like by default, you immediately get the full result, which is like the foreground color and the alpha meti, and you can visualize this on different backgrounds. You can also inspect the final meti. As you can see here, the final meti has all the details that are present in the footage. And then you can also check the hint meti. The hint meti is actually pretty important because this gives the model a rough idea of what pixels belong to the foreground and which don't. And for the hint meti, you have like two options. Like you can either use the automatic hint meti. This will use some pre-trained matting model to create the alpha meti, and you have several options here. Usually the BiRefNet works on most footage, but you can also change to DisNet or SGHM. SGHM is especially working well if you have like human only material. But for demonstration purposes, let's go back to BiRefNet. So the higher you set this setting, the better the hint for the keying model. And yeah, let me show you how it affects the final output, because at the moment we are visualizing the auto-matting, like the auto-matting result. So let's go to result. So this is, oh no, sorry, let's go to final meti. This is actually the final meti, and you can see that for like the worst hint, we already get a pretty decent refined result. But something that is missing is, for example, the details here around the neck, because the hint model didn't capture it, as you can see. But if we improve, like if we increase the quality here, the hint meti includes those parts. So if we check how it affects the final output, so this is the final output for the fast hint meti, and for the better quality, you can see that now the keying model reconstructs those areas as well. So it's always important to check the hint meti to see if there are like any parts that need refinement. Okay, and then the next thing I want to show you is a new feature that we introduced with the BlaceKey 1.5 model. The BlaceKey 1.5 model is a model that we trained on our own with our own data set and like some optimization strategies. And let me switch to another example. Like in this shot, you can see that there's like pretty strong color bleeding from the green screen onto the subject, for example, here in this area, and on the side of the box and around the lamp. Like you have a pretty strong green color spill. And until now you had to manually remove this color spill, but now we have a new AI-based despill option, and if you click this, it will despill the footage as part of the AI processing. And you can see, like, now with this option, the green color spill that is present here on the box gets removed, as well as here on the like inner parts of the subject. So that's definitely a setting to make use of. Okay, and last but not least, I want to show you like a different matting workflow that doesn't make use of the auto matting, but makes use of custom hint matties. And why do you need this? Because sometimes the automatic hint matty will not capture all the details, as we saw here. Like, for example, in some, like for some resolutions, details are left out, and you might always have cases where some parts of the background shine through somewhere and are not captured by the auto matting. So what you can do is to create a rough key with the traditional method. Like traditional methods, they're working very well in terms of just removing color pixels. They have like several downsides, but they actually help us a lot in creating a good hint matty. So let me duplicate this layer, and then we're gonna apply key light here and set the screen color. What you can see, like, it actually gives a pretty decent key, but one of the things where it falls short is that, for example, like the background color is still mixed in with the foreground. So if we inspect the RGB straight, you see that there is like it's not red. Like all those pixels are supposed to be red, but they are not. So this is one of the downsides of traditional keying methods. And let's inspect the screen matty and try to like remove here like this grayish fuzz a bit, and also make the whites solid. And okay, yeah, now this we should leave as it is. But now we have a pretty strong hint matty, and we can feed this into the plugin. So what's important is that the hint matty is in black and white. So I'm gonna go over here and let's visualize the hint matty. So currently it's set to automatic. Now we change it to black and white layer and select the layer where we apply the key light effect. And what's very important is that we also select this. And now we have kind of a pass-through of the key light of the key light result into our plugin. And now if we go from hint matty to like final matty, we can see that we get a very, very accurate final matty. And most importantly, it has the foreground colors reconstructed. Again, I think this is one of the coolest features because this gives you like full flexibility in compositing. And yeah, if I step through, you can see that we have also like pretty fast rendering speeds on like under 300 milliseconds per frame. So the plugin is really performant. And oh yeah, maybe one last setting to show I forgot to show earlier is the keying quality. This is basically the resolution at which the keying model will run. If I set this, for example, to 512 pixels, we get super quick rendering speeds, but of course the quality is worse. But for some quick visualizations, this is a good option. Let's set it back to original so it processes the footage at its original resolution. Okay, I hope you learned something from this tutorial. See you soon.